Well, we're coming to another Kyle's Innocent Not Live, and we're going to be talking about Mooresville taking on Western Land, and also the Mooresville hosting the Carolina Prep Jamboree review, and we're going to be talking about that as well, and we're going to see what we can do here. So let's start with the Carolina Prep Jamboree that was hosted by Mooresville and tell you what happened there and see what happens. So the first contest was Lake Norman taking on Hickory Ridge. Hickory Ridge defeated Lake Norman 12-0 in that contest. Here is some pros and cons of Lake Norman and Hickory Ridge. For the Wildcats, they have a good coaching staff. Almost all of them are from Mooresville. They have a decent defensive line. They did do well penetrating the line of Hickory Ridge O-line. They are overall a solid defense, very good. They did very well defending against Hickory Ridge on their runs and passes. Cons for the Wildcats, they have lack of size, lack of depth, and their offense is not all that great. For Hickory Ridge, the pros are they have a great staff. They have a solid defense, okay offense right now. Cons, they had 9 penalties, and also they had missed assignments on run plays where the running back wasn't getting through the gap where he needed to be. So we'll have to see how they fix that coming along football season. For next contest was Cox Mill and Charlotte Christian. Pros and cons of this game. Cosmill did pretty well against Charlotte Christian, who is usually a powerhouse. Cosmill, they have a good defense and a pretty good offense, but they did give up a lot at times as well. So they got to work on some things, but they really held their own and really did well. They did ultimately lose 27-7, but a good showing from them. Charlotte Christian, they have a very, very good quarterback and very good offense. And, they don't really have any cons. I didn't see anything that I would say that made me see and say, oh, well, so they probably got to work on certain things, small things. But overall, they're a very, very good team and probably one of the better private schools in North Carolina. Oh, and also, this game was cut down by 2 minutes to lightning. And then we had the part 2 of the Jamboree today. Central Embarrass and Station could not come back today, so it was Mooresville versus Hickory in part 2 of the Jamboree. So pros and cons here. For Mooresville, positive growth on the offense side of the ball. I was really pleased on how the offense did today. Mr. Bobby Davis, who is possibly going to be our starting quarterback, really shined this morning. He really did very well. He has an element of speed and difference in that offense when he's at quarterback. Mooresville has a solid defense. I saw a lot better fundamentals. They tackle very well. Something we haven't seen at Mooresville the past couple of years, where a lot of times back in previous years, we would try to get the big hit or trying to be fancy. We weren't trying to be fancy. We were trying to get the legitimate tackles that actually matter. I think our passing game was slightly better than past years. We did a lot of short passes, but we did very well. And another thing that I really like about that is way better blocking by the tight ends and wide receivers. A lot of times we were going outside and getting up. We were getting very, very good blocks. So one thing that I noticed is once we catch the ball, we go upfield. We're not trying to be fancy and trying to go here, over there. It's catch and go. So I really like that. Mooresville capitalized on mistakes. Hickory did turn over the ball a couple times, so that's good for the Blue Devils. And they also got some pressure as well on the defensive side as well. Very good sign for Mooresville as past couple years. They really haven't been able to get pressure on the quarterback. Okay, and then we have cons. We got cons. Lower numbers. Varsity-wise, Mooresville only has 45 kids or so, and that's pretty low for Mooresville standards. Mooresville did had a slow start, not very normal of them. Gave up a few plays. They had a couple of long plays that were given up and stuff like that. So, and then turnovers. We turned over the ball up as well. For Hickory, their positives are good offense. I thought their offense really did well against Mooresville's defense at times. They have some size, not a lot, but I think it is manageable for them. They also have a very, 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 very tough running back. I really love the grind that he did. Very tough, very hard to bring down. He works for every yard he gets. And then they have some speed as well as wide receiver. Their wide receivers are somewhat small, not a lot of mid players, but I believe Hickory will be okay. They have some speed. Cons, they are somewhat small, as I pointed out, but I think that'll be okay. They have speed, so they might not be the tallest, but they have the speed and speaking too at times. They have a small quarterback. He's only listed at 5'7", so I mean that is a big issue. But he did pretty well today, so we'll have to see how he does going along in the season. And then also they also turned the ball over as well, so we'll have to see how they do. And also the final score was Mooresville 28 and Hickory 8. All right. So moving on, we're going to transition here. We are now going to be talking about the Mooresville Blue Devils taking on West Rowan for the week 1 start of the season. We are 6 days away from that contest next Friday night. So let's get down to business and talk about this contest and give you a little rundown on certain things. So, for Mooresville, this is what they have coming back. I appreciate the Charlotte Zerber, for having a very good written down. Charlotte Zerber is very good, and thank you to Mr. Langston as well for all that he does. But here's the rundown from Mooresville. Mooresville has a new coach. This will be his first year at Mooresville. He's 33 and 17 overall as a head coach, and Mr. Thad Wells. Last year, Mooresville went 4-8, 2-5 in the conference play. They returned 80 Leathermen and 9 returners. Key returns are Marcus Mills. Unfortunately, I will put this out there. He is hurt. He will be out for 6 weeks, so that is a big blow for the Blue Devils. Ike Byers, Sean Hill, Reggie Spratlin, hope I said that right, are all returners. Also, Mr. Todd Norman was going to be a returner for Mooresville, but he transferred to another local school. Newcomers as well are Keyshawn Black, Malik Burchett, and Hunter DiMarino. They were starters last year on JV, but they're newcomers to the varsity level. So that is what we got on Mooresville, and I'll add a little bit more on that. For Mooresville, we have a very solid O-line. I thought our D did very well today. I think our DB plays phenomenally. For West Rowan, for the Falcons, as Mooresville will travel down the Mount Ola, or Ula, whatever you want to call it. West Rowan. 57-22 overall record. Last year they went 6-6, 3-2 in the Northeast Conference. Just a side note, 6-6 was probably their worst year since the early 90s at Western Land High School. So we'll have to see how they do this year. They returned 15 starters, 8 on offense and 7 on defense. They returned 32 Leathermen, Key return starters are Jalen Houston. He's going to be very good, very fast. He'll be their probably running back at Westerland, probably at wide receiver at some, but he's a very fast player. Payne Stallworth, he is their quarterback. Jaden Perry, he is also another running back for the Falcons. I want to say it's Baden Sunders. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. He is a linebacker. And also Reggie Everhart is a DB. Newcomers are Ziggy Biggers. He's a pretty sized D lineman. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. Dylan Sidman is a running back. And Lamonte Jacobs is a D lineman as well. Here's a little outlook for Westerland. Last year, they went since the Senate, but previous in 2015 and 16, they went 10-4. The Falcons would probably do better in the MCC this year in conference play. They should have a very, very solid offense and a pretty good defense. So we'll have to see. I have not seen Westerland this offseason, so I can't really give a full in-depth analysis on them and how they look this offseason. But I will say this. Westerland will be better than past years. Let me say last year. So we'll have to see how they do. So here's my score prediction. I know some people are not going to like this. I know people are probably not going to agree with this. And I know some people are going to probably have something to say about it. But I am changing my outlook a little bit. But I think this really comes down to how Mooresville offense does. So, but right now, I am going to put Mooresville losing to Westerland. I got Mooresville losing. So my score prediction is 28-21 Westerland. And I know some people are probably not going to agree with that, but I think this will be a battle. It's going to be a defensive battle, but I think Westerland currently, Westerland, getting a little mixed up. People were behind me. I believe Westerland has the better offense, but both Mooresville and Westerland have good defenses. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I hope I'm wrong. Because I think this will be a very, very good test for the Blue Devils and a good measuring stick. Remember, Joe Mid Blue. God damn, do you not know